6 former officers charged with murder, all 6 plus 3 others charged with manslaughter.
So far, a total of 10 former Marcy Corrections officers are facing murder and or manslaughter charges stemming from the killing of Brooks.
Thank you for watching Why I Killed You TV. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this particular video and this particular YouTube channel. This disturbing and upsetting story happened in Marcy Correctional Facility in upstate New York. Robert Brooks was an inmate there who will never get a chance to finish out his prison sentence and leave. Instead, he died while he was in custody. His death is another example of how broken and unfair the U.S. prison system can sometimes be. Now, there are new updates to share, but for those of you who don't know what happened, here's what was seen on body camera videos that was released by the new New York Attorney General. In one of the videos, Officer Michael Allen recorded Brooks being carried into the prison medical room with his hands tied behind his back. Officers led him to a room down the hallway. In this short clip, you can see one officer pressing his knee into the back of Brooks's leg with his full weight, while other officers started to enter the hallway and the room. Then Sergeant Trobley Bodycam showed Brooks in a green jumpsuit, still handcuffed, and surrounded by 6 other officers. We don't really know what was said because the cameras were not fully turned on. This is per their policy. About a minute later, things turned really violent. One officer appeared to be hitting Brooks with his own shoe and then started punching him several times. The other officers just stood by and watched. From Officer Matthew Gallagher's view, one officer was seen stuffing a white object, maybe a tissue or a cloth, into Brooks's mouth, while another officer grabbed him by the neck. A third officer started beating Brooks again with his shoe and punching him in the legs. The officer who had his hands on Brooks' neck never let go. He kept choking him and swinging him around by the neck. Meanwhile, another officer kept hitting him with the shoe, forcing Brooks to sit up as he attacked him. These 3 officers often made Brooks lay down on the medical table. On Sergeant Trobley's camera, one officer stomped and punched his boot into Brooks's stomach. 2 other officers held his head and neck, and a 4th officer punched Brooks in the stomach and the groin. Another officer came in and held Brooks's legs down while Brooks lay there, unable to fight back. This happened in the medical room, a place that should be a safe place for prisoners. But in this case, even in that room, it became a place of pain. The prison system is supposed to offer care and respect, but this shows how fast things can go wrong with the cruel system. The officer holding Brooks's legs punched him again and again and again. 2 more officers kept their full body weight on Brooks's upper body. After about a minute, they shackled him and kept him on the table while they stood around. Then they sat him up again. His face was bloody, and you can tell just by looking at him that he was badly hurt. Just seconds later, the officer who was holding Brooks's neck and punching him hard in the ribs, Brooks tried to protect himself, but he couldn't do much. After 30 seconds later, the officers lifted him by the collar of his shirt and pushed him into the corner of the room. At least 7 other officers were there. Any of them could have stopped the beating, but no one did. When officers are trained to treat inmates like they don't matter, they don't deserve respect. It leads to more of these type of terrible stories. Court papers say that the medical examiner believed that Brooks may have died from being choked. He was 43 years old. His death is one more example of how the prison system continues to fail. These things keep happening because the system lets them happen. But now some justice might be coming for Brooks and his family more than 2 months after his death in custody. 6 former officers have been charged with murder. All 6, plus 3 more, have also been charged with manslaughter. That means 10 former officers from the Marcy Correctional Facility are now facing serious charges for what happened to Brooks.
6 former officers charged with murder, all 6 plus 3 others charged with manslaughter.
So far, a total of 10 former Marcy corrections officers are facing murder and or manslaughter charges stemming from the killing of Brooks, notably Sergeant Glenn Trombley and Officer Michael Along. Two of the officers who had their body cam footage released, as well as the 3 nurses on duty during the time of the beating, have not been charged as of this recording. 2 of the nurses, along with multiple other prison employees, are facing civil lawsuits from Brooks's family, and there are reports circulating of other prison employees agreeing to plea deals, though the details have not been made public as of now.
An autopsy finding Brooks died from homicide caused by asphyxia due to neck compression and multiple blunt force injuries.
Murderer! Murderer! Murderer!
5 of them: Nicholas Anzalone, David Kingsley, Anthony Farina, Christopher Walrath, and Matthew Gallagher, facing murder charges. 3 other corrections officers, David Walters, Michael Fisher, and Michael Mashaw, facing charges of manslaughter. And 1, Nicholas Gentile, of tampering with evidence. All defendants pleading not guilty today.
The formal proceedings entered into not guilty of charges at this time.
And released on bail, or in Gentile's case, of his own recognizance. Brooks was serving a 12-year sentence for stabbing his girlfriend. Robert Brooks's father, among those watching today from the courtroom.
You marched him out, you let him go. My son didn't get that opportunity. My son didn't have a bail. And my son didn't have a murder charge.
Regardless of the prison sentence Brooks was serving, no inmate should ever fear for their life and be treated with such callousness and a lack of humanity that these officers showed.
A 2023 investigation by the Marshall Project in the New York Times found that from 2010 to 2022, New York's Department of Corrections filed 5,642 disciplinary cases against prison staff, but only succeeded in firing 28 officers.
They hate you. You're gonna die.